Okay. Now do the intro. Intro.
Or just stop.
Meta Perspective Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to Meta Perspective Podcast. We're your hosts, Alex
Evan.
and the girl. This is a show where we talk about deep and interesting topics and try to get to the heart of the topic idea through multiple perspectives.
But if you are joining for the first time, please give the channel a follow and the video a like, because we plan to do random giveaways, things like that. So it doesn't hurt to stay active.
Speaking of staying active, don't forget to jump in that chat. We want you a part of this conversation as much as we are, because obviously Meta Perspective Podcast isn't meta
Without your perspective.
Boom.
And we do have that chat pulled up, so whatever you guys see, we can read, we can respond to. It's not being broadcast on the stream, so don't feel like your thoughts or whatever are on blast, anything like that. And if you are watching this after the fact in post, when it's posted on our channel, please leave a comment. We will also respond to those kind of things.
If you have questions on the topics we're talking about or ideas for future topics, we read it all and we want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. So this is week 3. We've started a new concept here, a series. We're doing a series of episodes all relating to the mind. Now, our first episode was our kind of our understanding of the mind on a tangible level. Obviously, me and Alex we've been friends for a long time. We talk about this stuff a lot, and we have for the past 10, 15 years or however long we've been friends. And we've established a lot of views on what the mind is, and we try to understand it, psychology, social aspects, emotions, thoughts, everything. So we kind of started the series off with that. And then we led into our second episode, which was kind of the negative aspects of the mind. Things relating to mental health, depression, fear, anxiety, doubt. So we talked about that last week. And that was a pretty big discussion, honestly. We filled our full session, and we feel like we still had more. And a lot of that was kind of linked to the social aspects, whether that's negative or not, or just it is what it is. We decided that this week we would spend time to talk about the social aspects of the mind, and kind of continue that discussion kind of relating to the negative part, because I feel like that is, when you look at most people in our modern society, trying to understand what your mind is one thing. You kind of have a, perception of your reality, and things are nice and peachy keen here in our modern world. But then, a lot of people are plagued by the negative aspects of the mind, fear, doubt, things like that. And the social side of that is probably the biggest key in all of that. So we kind of started our discussion on the negative aspects last week with the idea that, we are a living, thinking, breathing machine that was designed for 60,000 years ago or more, a tribal individual that works in social classes. And a lot of these negative aspects of our mind go back to these social dynamics that we had back in the tribe, in the small tribe. So a lot of the things like approach anxiety, fear and doubt, these are all things that were meant to keep you alive and, keep you with a social group. And there was hierarchies there. There's like the chief archetype. There's kind of the lowly, worker kind of person. There are these hierarchical things. The wise man. So everybody had a role back then, and that helped the tribe survive and work as a dynamic unit. And then now we're stripped away of all of that, and we're thrown into this modern society. We're born into it. where all of this stuff has been eroded and this new kind of modern phenomenon has been established to where our biological hardware is now out of date. So we have to work within the context of our modern world, and everything is relative. So the same things that kept me afraid of a saber-toothed tiger, 60, 80,000, 100,000 years ago, are the same things that keep me from, approaching a group of people I don't know and conversing and making new friends. Because I feel like if I'm, the saber-toothed tiger is probably not the best example, but you get what I'm saying is that if I approach this group and they don't like me and I'm cast out into the wilderness, well, maybe I will be eaten by the saber-toothed tiger. It's without a group of hunters and people to have my back, my baby won't survive. My shelter's going to go to shit. I won't be able to feed myself. Maybe a cold front comes in and I'm dead. So we want these social groups, and that's very important to us. And that's built a lot of this fear and this doubt. And I think that most of you watching, probably your biggest struggles with the mind are related to these social aspects.
Yeah. It's kind of like you were talking about last week as far as fitting into the tribe. It's one thing when, especially within your community, you're comparing yourself to like-minded people who grew up the way you did or in the area you did. You don't just have the sense of community from the community, but those that you're, let's say, competing with to be acknowledged by your tribe. It's going to be like, are you the guy who listens to people and helps people? You're good with your hands. So like, this guy, you don't even know him that well, but he's a friend of a friend of a friend. And he heard through all of them that you're just that good with your hands and he needs your help. You do it for free. You do it for free with the intention of word gets out that you're the reliable person. And I don't need money. I'm going to trade money for that admiration and respect within the tribe.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have my value within the tribe. So if anything ever happens, you guys remember all the stuff I did for you for free. So what are you willing to do for me to help me in my time of need?
Value. That's the key.
It's community with value. Now, let's do a social community. Community of people that most of the people you talk to aren't even in your community. It's all outside. And now your competition isn't against other like-minded people who grew up in the same area and have the same worldview. It's going to be people from all over the world, and you're competing with them for a level of status. Now, how do I do that? I'm not around them. Well, it's going to have to be how I advertise myself to them.
Yeah.
So there's a combination of you working too hard to meet unrealistic standards that have nothing to do with the standards you should have for yourself within your community. The unrealistic standards you're creating they're outside of your community. They're not even within your community. So this level of perfection you're trying to compete with the world is not going to be the same kind of perfection within your community. The same idea as like a celebrity who grew up and
being famous.
Yeah, and then they come back to your city and it's like, hey guys, and everybody's like, we don't really know who you are anymore. Like, we don't really care. You've done nothing for us. Your status to the world means nothing to our community.
Yeah.
And you see that a lot with rappers who will go back to an area and it's like, yeah, you grew up with us. Now leave before you get hurt. And it's like, oh, I guess I never had you guys' back when I left, even though you had my back in the community when I was here.
Yeah.
I left and I didn't have your back. And then I came back expecting the same kind of level of praise because the world loves me. I assume when I came back, that small town that helped keep me afloat, I guess I just thought that they would see me shoot up to the top and just be like, we're happy for you. But I guess I never did anything for them. So they're mad at me because why would I let the community help bring me up just so I can hit the top and not help any of them come up? There's just to end it, there's real levels to that where you have this two-way thing of you're competing with the world, which has nothing to do with your life or anything that's going on within your life or the city you live in or the town.
Yeah.
But then you also have expectations that are outside of the expectations for your area. So the direction you're going and the status the quality of, like, look at the value that you're trying to display to everybody, nothing actually helps your area. So it's like,
Right.
it's almost like you're working to compete against a ghost, because when you turn that computer off, that all these big people that you're trying to compete with, they're not in your area.
Right.
So when you turn that computer off, it's like, I'm not competing with anything happening around me. I'm not trying to give value into my community. I'm trying to show the world I have value without actually doing it. It creates such a false sense of value.
Right, and that's a really good that's a really good idea to jump off this whole discussion with, because I do feel like, in a way, there are two tribes. There is the tribe based in I'd say reality, but really it's your physical world, the world that you interact with. It's your friends, your family, your job, the people that you see, the people that you are likely to come in contact with. These things are you could be put in a position where you're having to react in the moment to somebody that you met, that you knew from high school, that meets you out in the world, and then whatever persona is you've built online or something like that goes away. It doesn't actually exist in that moment, because this is the real local tribe. And then at the same time, we've built this kind of global tribe, or this false tribe, or whatever the best word is for that. It's a representational. It's scaling up. It's taking everybody's qualities. It's like back in the day, if we were all these different tribes, so there are like 8 different tribes, and then we all tried to scale up to one tribe, and we all tried to fit the same roles, and we all kind of tried to contribute our strengths and all that, like who would win out, who's, and that's kind of what we're seeing play out. It's like, who's the best singer, who's the best dancer, who's the best CEO, who's the best money maker, who drives the best car. It's like, it's all these superficial. It's
Use it. My bad.
Oh my God.
I know.
We are not even 15 minutes in. This is a record, ladies and gentlemen.
This is a record. I want you guys to write this down. It's a big moment.
12 minutes and 52 seconds.
Big moment in Meta Perspective history. You are watching history in the making, people.
All right, so I'll keep going on this idea, and I'm sure I'll keep going by the time he comes back. But essentially, we've built 2 tribes. It's your local tribe, it's the people that you know, and it is the global tribe and the perceived self. It's what qualities that you feel like you could offer a tribe outside of yourself that would make you a worthy candidate to join the global tribe. And I say that in a way is almost like if we were 60,000 years ago, and I'm trying, if I am with maybe 1 or 2 people, and we're wanderers in this wilderness, we've been cast out of our tribe, or maybe our tribe didn't really survive, maybe there was a war or something. So I'm going with my small social group, and I'm trying to find a new tribe and new lands. So I come across this other tribe. So when that happens, and I come across this tribe, I'm going to have to display my value to them. I'm going to say, oh, well, I'm a really great hunter. Look at my wares. I have, a leopard print. I've got boar tusks. I've got a saber-toothed tiger tooth as a necklace. You can tell that I'm a good hunter because of the way I portray myself. So I would hope that you would accept our small little group as part of your larger tribe, because if not, we're going to die. Like, we're not going to last the winter without a larger tribe. Ours was destroyed. So, in the same way that we would do that back 60,000 years ago, we are doing that to the global tribe, where you're trying to highlight your best qualities, and you're trying to hide or augment your faults, to where, you know, in this online world, in this global tribe that we've created, you're always trying to put our best foot forward in a way that becomes artificial, where we start lying to ourselves. We start having fears and doubts about who we are. And there's an incongruency that starts to build where, you know, the person that you are online, or the person that you think people perceive you as, or how you would like to be perceived, starts to get convoluted with how people actually perceive you. At that point, you're willing to forego what people tell you about the way you're acting, with this false sense of projection of value. So it's like, we all know the person that wears something ridiculous that, you know, if you wear something ridiculous and you pull it off, it's cool. If you wear something ridiculous and you think you're pulling it off and no one else really thinks so,
Super lame.
it's super weird and lame, and people look at you a certain way, but people don't just don't get it. And that, I think that's the trap that people are falling into, is that we're putting too much value into what, you know, the highest level of achievement, the celebrity status, the fame, you know, the cars, the money, and all that. And we're neglecting our social circles that are based in reality. And we're not congruent with that, where it's like, if you were the man to a level where you got to be celebrity status, but you're not the man with your tight inner circle and your friends, family, and all that, it's just not congruent. That's a lie. And those type of, you know, those quick fame people like YouTube stars, stuff like that, you see them burn out very quickly.
Yeah.
It's because it's not based on the content of character. It's not based on the true value. It's based on the perception of value that you can artificially create.
It's not based on reality. It's based on the synthetic reality that only exists because of social media. And social media is not a real place.
Right.
You know? So going back to what you said, it's like, I think that's a great way to say it, is you have these people who are like, hey, we have all this, we wear nothing but like fox pelt or wolf pelts and all this stuff. We're showing that we're warriors, we're strong, that like this climate, it's so cold, but like it doesn't bother us because like we fight these almost mythic beasts. We fight bears with tools we make and win. And then we wear those pelts. So we're not cold. We walk around with the bear's fur on us.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is, out in social media, you have kids in a hot climate trying to adopt these personalities.
Right.
So when it comes to your world, when it comes to reality, all the people you go to school with, you go to work with, the people you hang out with, they're not cold. Why are you wearing so much fur? You're really hot, but you're trying to give a certain look that captivated you.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of it is when it comes to social media is it's, hey, this person's different. We don't have that flavor in our town. I want to adopt that flavor. And then you say, I mean, with social media, you see copycats like crazy. I think most people have gotten good to adapting to social media, so they know not to adopt the whole style. It's like people have.
You're talking about like the influencer
culture? In the very beginning of social media, you did have a lot of people, like in high school, where it's like you have people obviously mimicking an artist or mimicking a celebrity. But I think people have evolved through social media too, which is a whole nother scary topic.
Yeah.
Is like how people are, you either choose to live in reality and kind of mimic the social media reality, or you live in the social media reality and just try to mimic reality.
Yeah.
And that's when it's like, dude, like you're wearing wolf pelts. And I'm pretty sure it's fake wolf. But like you're wearing like fake wolf pelts and chains, and like it's really hot here and everybody in this town is really friendly, but your energy is like, I'm top dog. Anybody could be after me. I got ops. And you're like, not in this town. Like you're living in this other world, but reality does not support your decisions of how you framed your mind. You framed your mind as if social media is a real place. But you haven't framed your mind as if you have to work tomorrow and you need to wipe that fake blood off your face. I know you think it makes you look cool with the wolf pelt, but like you have a real job, you have other things. I don't care if you're getting more likes on social media because you're walking around like this.
Yeah.
There's reality, and you're not adding anything to this community by going online, sitting on your phone for hours, and then just turning around and being like, look, I'm Wolfman. It's like, that's not giving us anything. You're just trying to create kind of an idea of yourself for us to pick up on.
A perceived false self.
But all that aside, again, we could do a whole nother thing on that. But it's like, the big problem is when you have these people competing with, it's one thing to compete against celebrities because like I love singing and, you know, on social media, I follow all the biggest singers. That's one thing. But I mean, deep down, we all know that every person who blows up and becomes big and has the support of everyone is the guy who's like, I never really did a song, but like my heart was aching. And like I sat down, I love guitar, and I just wrote. And then
Richmond, north of Richmond.
That's
guy.
literally what I was talking about. It's so funny you said that because I was
Yeah.
like, I don't want to point to any one thing, so let me give a generic. But the reason your brain popped into that is because it is the best example. It is. It's a guy who's like, he's like, I'm just
From
a
rags
dude
to
living.
riches story.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just a dude living in this town, but I have a pretty clear view of how like the outside is really affecting my small town life.
Yeah.
And it's like, here's a song that expresses that. The reason it blew up so much is because of how real it was, because this person was very grounded in their community. And the whole song's gripe was like, it's this outside stuff that's affecting our small towns and affecting our lives. It's not us. It's this stuff. And everybody was like, no, yeah, we all see that. We all see it. And everybody related to the song.
Yeah.
So it's like he wasn't making that song from all the influence he had of all these different musicians and all these different areas and how you write songs in Europe versus this, versus trap, versus, you know, grunge. Like it wasn't all that. It was just, you know, this is how I feel. I like guitar. I'm going to play a little. What I'm playing is kind of indicative to like the area I live out in the sticks. And my energy, I've been dead now. Like the energy is just like, it's country. It's everything about this guy that he sold to social media was based on reality in his small town.
I got something to go off this. This kind of talks to the whole idea of being genuine, which a lot of people talk about. Everyone understands what that means. But I'm seeing, you know, just based on this discussion, I'm forming this idea in my head where, you know, the same way we talked about, you know, trying to appeal to the global tribe as if they would accept you, trying to reach that level of famehood or whatever. That's everybody's ultimate goal, it seems like. You know, that's the ultimately achievable version of success socially that we can kind of comprehend. But it also works the opposite way. And I'm going to tie this back into the idea of being genuine. But what I really mean by that is if you are out in a social situation and you do something that's maybe a little bit unique or out of the social norm, you know, whether that's good or bad, like people are going to judge you based on what the global tribe would think of that. Whether they think that or not, they're going to judge you as if they're watching a YouTube video and you're not actually being there in front of them doing the thing. So like if in a natural, genuine interaction, if you were a little bit weird or something like that, someone might actually find it welcoming or something like that. Now you have people, especially these kind of Instagram pruned kind of women where it's like they're so quick to judge, not based on what's happening in front of their face, but judge based on what the internet would think of what's going on right now. So we've created this false tribe that we're appealing to, and we've also created this false tribe that's judging us at the same time. So everybody who's interacting socially, in the back of their mind is considering what the global tribe would think of this. whether they're actually going to or not. And you see that with when people take videos of others, you know, somebody who's just getting out of their social comfort zone and dancing or something can be ridiculed for looking stupid, where in reality it's like maybe the person that they were dancing with was into it. So like we're appealing and we're also being judged. So there's this false authority that we're so subservient to, at the same time we're such slaves to.
And you said it with genuine. I mean, it comes
right, and that's why we like genuine.
It comes down to genuine for one reason.
Yeah.
That whether we acknowledge it or not, subconsciously there's something we're all somewhat aware of. And that's that we know ourselves enough to know what I look like, you know, bearing my soul online, and what I look like trying to convey what I feel the world's pain is. So am I telling the world what I'm feeling from the world, or am I trying to regurgitate to the world what we're all feeling, or what I think we're all feeling?
Yeah.
And that's the difference. That's
influence. There's influence.
It's
there.
genuine versus influence.
Yeah.
And there's a big problem with that when you see, you know, and again, that's where the judgment comes from. There's a big problem where people sit there and they say, well, everything online is fake. So all I got to do is be fake and sell the same thing. And then people get surprised that they're made fun of. They're called names. They're like, there's so much hate online. Well, did you ever think that maybe you weren't being genuine with them and you were selling them a fake version of themselves to, you know, unknowingly try to trick them? By saying, hey, we're like, everybody watching this video, we're all thinking the same thing. So what I did is I made a video acting like, kind of like I understand it. I think I get a pretty good idea, but let me like, I maybe I can't fully grasp it, but I get it enough to make a video. And it's like, okay, well, the video that's famous that you're trying to regurgitate was genuine. They understand it because they've been pushed so hard by the topic that they have to express it because they don't know what else to do. While you aren't pushed by the topic, but you get the topic and now you want to resell it because you see the popularity.
It's like the idea of the traveling magician who goes from town to town just influencing people with his tricks,
because
collecting the money and then going to the next town because
in one town he saw that these things worked.
Yeah.
But he didn't understand the actual medicinal properties. So he just understood that this stuff works really well. So he's advertised like, this is a miracle thing.
The snake oil.
The snake oil. Not knowing that snake oil is extremely
cancerous.
But it's like it's extremely helpful, let's say, in like this narrow area of like wounds and illness. But you don't understand the medicinal properties. So you sell snake oil as a miracle drug.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how
no one catches up with you because you keep moving.
But there's one genuine person in a town where people go, this guy knows what the hell he's talking about. How do I know? I had this issue. He offered me snake oil. Didn't know it was a thing. I took it and it helped. Like, this guy, he knows stuff. I don't even know how you figure out how to know it. And then you have a guy who's like, I have a miracle thing, and it doesn't really work. And then it's like, why am I getting all this hate from everybody? I'm sharing something that I've seen work because you don't understand it. You're trying to sell me something that you saw somebody else getting rich for, but they're getting rich off of it because they're trying to help people. It's genuine. You're not getting rich and you're getting hate because people have realized you're peddling an idea. You're not peddling anything genuine. And you see that across the board, especially with social media. You can tell a girl who's like, look at me, I'm dancing because I'm narcissistic and I need the attention. And you could tell the difference sort of a girl who's like, I don't care if this video makes me look bad. Here's my views on what's going on with this because it does affect me. And I'm going to bare my soul and tell you, I went through a personal experience related to this, and it is a big topic. And you say, and it gets tons of likes, more than the music video somebody else did.
Yeah.
For the simple reason that people go, this person, like, this is a good example of somebody understanding what's happening, who is affected by it, and they're just like letting it vent that this isn't okay, and we agree. Versus me seeing that video and going, maybe I can sell people the same energy that, like, I'm also going through it.
Yes. And so, all right, I'm cracking the Da Vinci Code of what we've been saying this whole time.
make an
I
omelet.
think it all comes down to what we already said, this idea of value. And the person that is successful, that people emulate and try to look like online, so people think that they have value and give them social status. We're all trying to basically.
And if I could jump in real quick, I'm sorry, but that goes into the idea of feeding the fake. The people, we all watch these people, but if you're big enough being fake, then other people kind of mimic that.
Right.
And and just like you're saying, it sells this idea of like, well, other people are following this fake person, so there is a way to be fake and still be genuine, just genuinely fake. It's a whole separate market opened up.
Perpetuating
Yes.
fucking engine. I mean, I think so.
Not to cut you off, I'm sorry.
No, you're right. I mean,
Or to
I
cut
think,
you off.
I think like that kind of sums it up in a way that we've been building to this. And I think for all you guys out there, the listeners, and let us know what you think. We got the chat pulled up. We'll respond to your comments if you're watching this on the uploaded video. But I think for all of you guys out there that are watching this to get a social context for your own life, I think, you know, based on what we've said, and as far as our experience, as far as my experience, I think being social and social success and just success in general all comes down to one idea, and that is value. You know, to relate it to the tribe, if you were valuable to the tribe, it showed. People followed you, people relied on you, and if you went away, they felt that loss. And you got to think about that in our modern world. You know, to be someone who is socially successful or just successful in general, you have to offer a value. And if you leech other people's value, you're essentially stealing value, repackaging it, pretending that you have value, and then you're gaining value for that. But it's built on a false reality. And I think for anyone who wants to be better as a human, wants to fully understand and take control of their social atmosphere, you have to understand the concept of giving other people value. Because it's not about you. It's not about how much value you have. It's about how much value other people get from you / you give to others. And you look at someone like Tony Robbins, you know, he's probably like, I wouldn't even put him in the category with these like online hype, like crush it, that kind of shit. That all evolved from him. But Tony Robbins to me is a genuine guy who is trying to make people's lives better by understanding or by helping them understand how valuable they are and how to give value to others. And I think that he does that extremely well in a way that's not showboaty. Look at me, I'm so
Especially with
successful.
pain. You get somebody who walks up and their energy is, I'm here to tell you about all the pain I'm going through. And they're like, really? Like with that hairdo? You're gonna sit there and tell me your life's so bad that you decide to make it worse with the hairdo? Like, not that per se, but he'll kind of like attack them
Yeah.
in a goofy way and force them to laugh. Why? Because he understands it's genuine.
Breaks down the barrier.
I'm not gonna sit here and listen to you tell me all the problems and then go, okay, yeah, you're falling apart. Let me try to explain how maybe you could pull yourself back together. Nobody does this. Go, stop. Like, why would you even talk like that? Like, look at you. You got amazing things going on.
Yeah.
Like
Helping other people understand their inherent value. Which,
yeah,
which we all
I
have.
saw one with the girls. She's like, you know, I have thoughts of often myself, and he's like, okay, and he breaks it down for her, and he's like, well, if you did that, like, well, what's your reason for not doing it? She's like, well, you know, my mom. It's like, okay, well, what would it do to her? You know, if you did. And she's like, well, you know, it would. She told me it would. You know, she wouldn't have a purpose in life anymore. He goes, that's not true. You know that. What would it really do to her? What does that really mean? What, like, he makes her say it. He's like, you're saying it wouldn't give her a purpose, but you don't have an attachment to that. I can feel it.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What is she saying? She's like, and finally she said, like, well, if I were to go, she'd probably be short behind me. It's like, yes. Now you're starting to be honest with yourself for the situation. And then he ended it with, the reality is a lot of people in this room that are all here for the same reason as you are do not have that love that you have. So it's like you need to understand what you have. And there's other people here falling apart that I'm about to break down too. But understand that you have something that they don't even have. You have an opportunity here.
Yeah.
Let me reframe all this pain you have and help you understand the real pain. And the real pain that you're not willing to acknowledge is, if I did this, well, my mother wouldn't have a purpose. What does that mean? Well, it means that, I guess, if I was a mother and I had a child and my child did that, it would kill me. I would want to kill myself if I lost my child.
20 years of purpose right
and then
there.
it starts to sink in like, oh, like
I am valuable.
I am valuable just for the simple fact that, like, me being alive and even trying a little bit gives them their purpose and gives them fuel to live. And then that gives you a purpose, gives you fuel. And it's like,
and this kind of comes back to what we're talking about the local tribe versus the global tribe.
Exactly.
And you give value to the people that in your local tribe. And I'll tie it all back here. So what I meant by value, this is not like the social value of you being wealthy, you having cars and stuff like that. That doesn't actually give anyone else value. That's the value that people try to emulate because they think it will actually give them social value.
Or it's
in reality,
or it's what we all know, which is you're just going to be taken advantage of. Everybody knows you hit the lottery and everybody wants to be your friend. But for some reason, we all chase this idea of stardom so that we can have fake friends.
Well, that's the thing.
We go on social media to create fake friends.
The richest people in this world aren't famous.
Exactly.
I'd rather be rich, not famous.
We're fighting for the worst parts
because you have everything
of money.
You want. And so it basically comes down to is what everyone's been convinced of is that you will be valuable if you come off as acceptable to the global tribe. And what it really means, what it really actually means to be social, if you want to build yourself socially and you want to build your own social value, it means you give other people value.
Like this podcast, we do not reach out to other streamers or other people who have any kind of affiliation or notoriety. We reach out to people that we relate to in our community that we like, and we give them a platform so that we can help push their stuff. I like your stuff. I want to help you push it. And it's a win-win. You know, we have an interesting person here to talk about this topic with.
Yeah.
And you get to let the world become more familiar with your soul, with what you've produced, whether it's a physical thing, music, you name it. But the difference is there's a lot of people out there who are just like, let me work with this person, because basically what I'm getting at is we don't use this podcast to say, hey, we're going to be ungenuine and we're going to get people to help boost us based on their notoriety.
Yeah, we're not going to lie to you and give you a false sense of
It would
hype.
be easy for us.
Crush it.
But that is most social media. Is most people who are like absorbed in social media, if they had a platform like us, their instinct would be, how do I really maximize and capitalize off of this? And it's
hype people up, give them a false sense of reality.
Let me get fake people in here to just boost my credibility, you know, so that, and I'll figure out a way that I can help them out. And it's like, that's not what it's about. It's about being genuine. Who do you want to talk to? Do you want to talk to that guy? Do you want to talk to the person that, you know, your second grade school teacher that made the biggest impact on you? Who do you really want on your show talking about complex issues?
Right. Would you rather have the person who you don't know that's talking to everyone else in the world, would you rather have them be the one giving you value, or someone that you meet in the wild, or a friend that maybe you met and you're trying to develop a friendship with, someone who could actually help you, maybe help you get into the career that person is in, and has started something that they're like, oh, I could put in a good word for you. Like that's the kind of stuff that is actually, you know, giving value. And that's almost comes down to material value. What I'm talking about is social value. So like truly to be a social valuable person, you got to use it again?
Dude, I broke
the
seal. The seal is...
See, I was actually thinking about going soon, but you went twice before I even had to go once.
Like, it's
So that's double record I would have said it was a record at 39 minutes and 43 seconds, but
Dude, we should be in Guinness.
most peas on a podcast that lasts an hour and a half. All right, well, son of a bitch, I wanted Alex to hear this because I know it's going to trigger some good discussion, and I don't want to come down here and derail my thought process. I want him to hear the full fucking thing. Anyway, guys, I'll take this time to I'm looking over here, looking at you guys. Thank you for watching. If you haven't made this far, let us know what you guys think. Leave a comment. We'll respond to it. And check out the prior 2 episodes on this series of The Mind. We will have more episodes on The Mind. I think it's probably going to be at least 3 more episodes on The Mind. It could be more. We're just kind of, we're loosely defining it and giving ourselves the runway to like tackle each topic as it comes and fully capture the Mind series. So if this is your first time watching, or if you've been through 2 episodes so far, or if you're just backlogging episodes in the future, let us know what you guys think. Give the channel a follow, give us a like. We try to be genuine, we try to be real. You can join us every Wednesday night. We will start streaming at least by 9 Central Time. So if you join us live, we have the chat pulled up. We can respond to what you guys say, and you can help join the conversation because Meta Perspective Podcast is not meta.
So I have a follow-up.
Without your
we're not ending this.
No, I was
Without your perspective.
No.
So, okay.
I wanted you to hear what I was gonna say because
That sounded like an exit. That's why
I was just filling some time. I was just telling people to join the chat, stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so what I was saying is you really want to shoot for the idea of giving other people value. And this comes down to it really comes down to listening to other people. There's a difference between, hey, look at me, I'm so cool, I drive these cool cars, I have a lot of money, I'm valuable because you look at me in admiration and envy. That makes me valuable because I don't have to spend my time interacting with you. You already consider me valuable. Like that is a level that people would like to achieve through this false understanding of what success is. But real social success, real social value is listening to people. It's offering people help or advice, or at least it doesn't even have to be advice. It's really just asking about them. And if you're out in a social situation, it's one thing to say, like, if someone's telling a story about something they did this weekend on a float trip, and you're like, oh man, you float in a raft, I only float in a kayak, dude. It's like the total, it's the elite.
It's the better
floaters.
experience,
It's the
man.
better experience. You don't even know because you don't kayak. That's not a way to offer value. That's challenging value. That's like in the jungle.
By saying
it's like 2 gorillas
I'm
that are
more
about to
valuable.
fight.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I have more value. No, I have more value.
I'm stronger than
Let's
you.
fight. Let's fight
If
it out.
we fought, I would win. That's basically what it's
Exactly.
saying. It's
but if
I
someone,
push myself further than you, I can do more than you.
right, but if somebody is telling the story about their weekend, instead of trying to seem like you relate to them by being on their level or better, to try to impress them, just ask more about it. Be like, oh, how was the fishing out there? Like, because you'll get those chances to be like, oh, yeah, man, I was on the Current River. I caught this like 2-foot trout one time. It was awesome. But only after you've asked them about their experience, and now they're open to hearing about your experience.
Yeah, even if somebody doesn't feel like they have value, they will start a conversation with you with the hopes that they can feel like they have value. So you're like, oh, how was your weekend? If they say, oh, we went rafting, and we went on a float trip on a raft. You can either feed that to give them value and be like, oh, wow.
Exactly.
Was that your first time? No, we do it every at least 5 times a year through the summer. It's like a group thing. Oh, that sounds like a lot of,
yeah, man.
yeah, bro, that sounds dope. Like where do you guys go? When you feed into it, what you're doing is you're telling that you're you're basically telling that person, hey, what you're doing is a cool thing.
Yeah.
You know, that is something interesting. What you're doing, going out and experiencing life like that, that's awesome, dude. Tell me about the experiences you're having. Now that person's like, okay, I didn't do this for no reason. Like, I have something to share. There was value in my experience, and I'm ready to share it.
It's the same way we take pictures and post them.
Yeah.
It's like when someone asks, it's so much more validated.
But when you sit there and you try and you're not acknowledging yourself and saying, well, I don't feel like I have value. If you don't acknowledge that, your first response will be like, well, have you ever tried kayaking? Dude, way better experience. Just that phrase alone says that all the stuff you're telling me to try to get value, honestly, like, that's sad. Let me show you my value.
Yeah.
What that's actually doing is that person will look down on you. And what you don't realize you're doing is you're not even acknowledging their value. So you, off the bat, you're already trying to assert yourself, which makes them look at you as lower. The conversation will end as both of you not really respecting each other in a way that a conversation could produce respect. And going back to what I was saying earlier, that's kind of the whole thing. When it comes to millionaires and stuff, we all heard the same thing growing up, that one of the biggest problems with millionaires that they have is that genuine friendship. It's once I made all this money, everybody suddenly was like, oh, no, I've always liked you. I've always supported you. I've always seen your value.
Yeah, the distant cousin from Dubai that, you know.
The fake genuineness. So the problem with social media that I see is that they're looking at people who aren't really producing anything, and they're trying to recreate that for themselves just to try to get the benefits that they see that person getting. Now, what people don't realize that they're doing, because they're not focused on the end game, which the end game for me, if I'm a millionaire, is going to be genuine friends. Okay, well, how do I do that? I'm going to take this money and actually help people. That'll get me genuine friends. Now, what'll get me fake friends? Going online and showing people all the money I got in the lavish lifestyle I'm trying to show you I live. Everybody's going to be like, I want a piece of that, and they're going to come at me.
Yeah.
So on social media, everybody's doing the same thing, but they're broke. That's the difference.
Or they're renting Lamborghinis.
But regardless, it's your status. So you don't really have money, but everybody's coming at you, not for your money, but for your status so they can make money off of you. It's almost worse, because if people are coming at me because they want my money, they'll do whatever I say for my money.
Yeah.
But when it comes to status, it's different.
Well,
Because they're not going to do whatever I say for the status. They're going to sit there and try to use me for the status. I could bring them on my show, and that person could try to purposefully embarrass me while dropping their thing and try to take all my people to them. And now all of a sudden, I don't even have a show anymore. They have my show because I gave them a platform because they weren't being genuine. They wanted to use me for what I had. Same as money. But if you don't have money and you're trying to create a status, I'm not bringing people on this podcast who just want notoriety. I'm bringing people on this podcast that I am personally friends with, that I think are good people, that I see enough intellectual mind in to sit there and say, I want to talk to you, and I want it to be on podcast because I want everybody to see what you have to say because I value what you have to say. I want you on my show because I see your inherent value. Yeah. On the top of that, I want to push what you do to help you. But the simple fact of the matter is the people I bring on the show, the people we bring on the show, it's one reason. It's because we can see ourselves having an interesting, fun conversation with them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bring you to my house if I don't want to hang out with you. I'm not going to bring you on my podcast if I don't want to talk to you. It's that simple. But yet you see that everywhere online and social media of people who are like, I don't really like this person, but I'm going to have them on my show to talk anyway because
I don't know how to interview someone. I'm asking the same questions as your last interview, but like to my followers, you're on here, so I'm cool.
Yeah, we both hate each other. We don't see value in each other, but the controversy will generate hits and generate money and generate what are you doing? Talk to somebody you want to talk to. That's why I love Joe Rogan. And at least what Joe Rogan stood for and what made him famous, his whole thing was like, I just talk to people that I want to talk to. He's like, I want to talk to a brain surgeon. I got questions for a brain surgeon. So I want to sit there and ask very personal questions that only they could answer.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk to somebody I'm not going to get anything out of. I want to talk to somebody that has, by him having somebody on his show, he's basically saying, I understand your value. Your value is on a pedestal. I want you on my show so I can talk to you, so I can understand you better. I mean, what is a greater sign of respect than being like, I revere you so much that I need to hear what you have to say, and I want to be the one to ask the questions. I don't want to hear you talk on social media. I have to ask you stuff because your value, man. That's love, you know?
Well,
and then they get to promote what they promote. It's a win-win, however. But for everybody else, we watch and we go, that was a very real conversation. They said stuff I've never heard, just pushed out as like talking points.
And
like
that's why Joe Rogan's so successful, because he has maintained, through being the largest podcast, one of the earliest podcasts, he has maintained that ability to remain genuine, even with all of these guests that honestly outshine him in his field. Like, yeah, he's the top podcaster, but these people are the top in their field that actually make a difference. And the I'm not taking away from what he's able to accomplish, but he's giving those people value the same way as they're giving him value, and then it's giving us all value by listening, and it's a win-win-win. And I think, based on kind of some stuff that you were saying, I'm kind of getting into the, just the regular average person. And one of these things that I see is that a lot of younger people now are growing up and they're seeing this success play out in front of their eyes, and they're like, oh, I want to be a YouTube star, or I want to do this. So a lot of them do stupid stuff. They eat Tide Pods. They do fucking weird backflips and break their necks and stuff like that. Like,
those videos,
it's chasing this clout idea, but at the same time, these people that follow like the ultra successful, like I'll use Andrew Tate as an example because he's kind of become like that cliche example of a Instagram success story, like that people chase. He gives people, like, he's inspiring to a lot of men, and I'll give him credit for that. But like at the same time, he's also like kind of that cliche Instagram bro, So it's like, on one hand, you have
not genuine, yeah,
right. So like basically, what I'm trying to say by this is that younger people growing up are seeing this as their role model of success, and they're gonna try to chase this success and talk to women this way. They're gonna treat their friends this way. If you're not, helping me succeed, then you're against me and I'm a cast you to the side. And they have this like cutthroat idea of you have to work so hard for success and everything else is just a waste of time. And it's like, this is, people are growing up with this mentality of get money, die trying, all this stuff. But it's like, they're not willing to take the second and talk to their peers, actually offer them value, and by doing that, build an actual foundational social credibility. It's like they're so ready to write off anything that's not cool or that's not in line with this false sense of chasing this dream, that they chase the dream, and then when they don't achieve it, then they ultimately either lie to themselves psychologically and lean in deeper to this psychopathy, and nobody likes them, or they just give up and feel like failures. And it's like, that's not successful. Success is, yes, you try to get to that level of Andrew Tate where you're able to be that socially, but you don't do it by snuffing other people. Because you're not that person.
Like him.
You're not the person that can snuff others. You're the person that needs to listen to others, to build your social circles, to build your network, to give other people value. Because when you give other people value, the reality is they will give it back to you. They will like you for asking about them, and it's not a false thing. You're not doing it for the wrong purposes, or you shouldn't be. You genuinely have to ask and care about people, because you know at the end of the day that your success depends on everyone else. Everyone else's opinion of you. Everyone else's thought and perception of you. So if you're willing to chase this false, global tribe idea of this Instagram fame and all this stuff, and you're willing to just let everyone else in your real world go to shit to achieve this false sense of reality, then you're not going to have any friends. They're not going to be genuine. They're all going to be the same fucking clout chasers as you, because they're not actually doing anything for people. They're just taking, and they're just chasing people who take, and they're chasing people who take and chasing who those people chase, because they're not even fucking rich. They rent Lamborghinis. They pretend to be rich. So you want to be like these pretenders that want to be like the real fucking deal. And the real fucking deal doesn't care about you. They are doing this. They are successful, and they actually give people value, and they have so much more important things to do than to seem cool for money on Instagram. They don't care about ads. They've already achieved the success.
Well, Andrew Tate's a good example, because there is a lot of stuff he does behind the scenes to try, I guess you could say, to try to give himself value.
I mean, he does help men.
But the reality is
that's
what he sells on social media isn't that.
Yeah.
So the funny thing about the hypocrisy of all of this, and I do have a separate point, but the funny thing about the hypocrisy of that is we're all on social media. We watch somebody say the wrong thing, and the community turns on them, and they lose their entire career. Nobody ever wants to hear them talk again. The only time we want to see them back online is in an interview where I get to watch how somebody comes at them, So the reality is a lot of us, we're not approaching what we see on social media with the knowledge we have of social media. We're not saying, I should be genuine because I see how successful people get when they're genuine with each other and on social media. Instead, people typically mimic and follow and try to copy the people who are controversial. And that controversy, if you didn't live that life to understand the controversy, if you try to mimic it, a lot of people just turn on you. So it's kind of, I find it kind of funny, the hypocrisy in like living in social media, seeing what doesn't work, and then following somebody based on the controversy they're using to be big. You know Andrew Tate because of the controversy of the stuff he says online. So if that's how you know him, that's how he got himself seen. But if you're trying to mimic that personality that got him seen and not mimic the underlying personality that made him rich, then you're adopting some of the worst aspects of the person that they used to get famous to try to get rich. But those aspects of them aren't what they used to get rich. They were genuine. They were nice. They did have to work with people and try to find a give, and what benefits both of us. Doing that, being genuine and being real is what made Andrew Tate rich. So mimicking what made him famous, it's hypocritical. Because you're saying, I want to be rich, so I'm going to mimic somebody who just doesn't put others first. It's like, but that's not what made Andrew Tate rich. That's what made him famous and noticed. He was already rich, and then he was like, I'm going to say what I want to say. So you have a lot of people who aren't rich going out saying what they want to say and going, why, how come I'm not blowing up like this? Because you don't really understand the struggle he's talking about. You have ideas.
Yeah.
But the main point I wanted to get at was, it's like we were saying with like the guy who lives in a cold climate and somebody in a hot climate sees them online and is trying to mimic a different climate in their own area. I mean, it's the same idea. It's if I want to be rich, I need my community to back me, to help push me up.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go outside of my community to follow Andrew Tate and just like be controversial with my community to try to get big. Because again, when it comes to rich people, the number one problem with being rich is fake people coming to you trying to get your money.
Yeah.
It's fake people coming to you trying to get your money. So if you go on social media and you're faking this whole aspect of yourself, all you're really doing by not being genuine is inviting that exact same behavior into your world.
And they perpetuate the lie.
Exactly. Which just really sets you more so into that lie and the habit of it and makes it that much more real.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, my community is not backing me. You know, most people I see don't like me because I'm not displaying any value towards anybody else.
And that's such a, you always hear this term, fake it till you make it. But it doesn't mean fake it until you make it and then keep faking it. You know, it's like that is, fake it till you make it means go outside of your comfort zone to become something you're not. So then when you become that person, you can sustain it. It doesn't mean bullshit your way to success and then expect that that's going to continue. You have to change. You have to like somehow offer people value at the end of the day. Yeah, maybe you're a crypto billionaire or millionaire or something like that, and that you got lucky. Maybe you won the lottery, something like that. But those are the people that fail. Like, you can't just fake it until you make it and then keep faking it. Once you make it, then you have to be real. You have to be genuine. And that's worked into the phrase. But so many people take that idea as, oh, you know, I can just... And that's why imposter syndrome is such a big thing, is because that's basically what we're all living with, is that we have this online perspective. We have this global tribe that we're trying to appeal to, and it's also judging us. So we're trying to fake our perception to the global tribe, not considering our local tribe and how they think. That doesn't matter in the grand scheme of our aspirations to be this famous, successful person. So a lot of people find themselves in this place where they're a different person than they are online than they are in real life. And then you see that and people get called out and then they double down. And it's never a facing of a reality moment where you realize where you are, because where you are isn't where you want to be compared to this grandiose, you know, perception of what success is. Everyone measures short to that. So we all try to chase something that's not achievable, and we leave the real people in our world behind. But if you look at a lot of these successful people, it's actually the opposite, is that they master their local tribe. They exceed their local tribe to a point where that abundance flows into other outside realms, and that's when they become successful, other than just the people that know them from school or their communities. And like, that's how people actually become famous or genuinely become successful, when they offer other people value through their work, through helping others. Like, there are some genuine people that have like self-help kind of stuff that actually do help people, and they're doing it because it actually makes a difference. And then there's the self-help people that just tell everyone to crush it, and Gary Vanderschmut or whatever the fuck his name is. I hate that guy. Yeah, he's a motivational speaker. He's like, oh, just whatever you're doing, just crush it. Just crush it. Crush it. It's like, yeah, but what about...
Just do it!
Yeah, just do it. It's like, that's the wrong mentality. You don't just do it. You understand it. You take the risk, and you learn from the failure. It's like, you're going to fail. Yeah, you're going to do it. I get the idea. But
it's like
at the end of the day,
parkour. You don't
idea.
just do it. You understand that there's risks, and you
Right.
try to assess them to minimize.
But you don't
just sit there and say, I'm just going to take this risk. Oh, I lost all my money.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't just jump into it blindfolded.
If you have...
Feel like you have a good idea and then take the risk with what you feel like you understand. You didn't understand it all. Now you've learned from your mistakes on what you were missing.
Right.
But you don't sit there and say, I don't know anything. Let me just donate a bunch of money and then I'll learn some stuff. You won't.
Right. If you have $10,000 in your savings account over 2 years, don't just rent a Lamborghini and buy a penthouse hotel and take a bunch of pictures and post it on your Instagram and think that you're somehow going to go anywhere with that. It's not about that.
It's about life experience. You have to have some understanding.
Offer people value. That's if what you're doing to try to be successful doesn't give people value, stop doing it. Like if you're selling some bullshit that's hurting your soul and you won't admit it, stop doing it.
Yep.
Quit that job. Don't sell people fucking. I know you're familiar with this. Don't sell warranties. Don't start a company hiring people to sell warranties. You know, don't do that. That's a get rich quick scheme. And those people like. I won't get into your shit, but like perfect example. You know what I'm talking about. There are these pop-up companies and stuff like that. Like even Andrew Tate became famous with this Cam Girl website. It's like, yeah, I guess he's offering value for people jacking off and paying money for these girls. But it's like at the end of the day, that's not helping anybody.
At the end of the day,
like
research studies show that like that kind of content to men is harming to men.
Yeah,
so
you're
it's
actually
like
taking away value.
You're taking away value from
They're less
scale.
likely to approach women because they've been so fucking desensitized to all this online porn shit. Now you're trying to help men. It's like that's just incongruent. And I'm not trying to attack Andrew Tate because I think he does offer a perspective for men. But like at the same time, it's like it's not achievable for the normal person.
It's backwards.
You can't become Andrew Tate. You have to be better than Andrew Tate in the ways that Andrew Tate is not better than you.
Yes, the best way I can say it is Andrew Tate says what he can say because of the money he made. Now, you don't know how he made the money.
Right.
You don't know the connections he made or if he was genuine or not.
Assumed success.
Exactly. So when you have a group of people following Andrew Tate, and I wanted to get to this. I did one of his recent things because I followed him. One of the recent things he had posted was about cheating. He said, if your woman isn't okay with you cheating, then basically she doesn't understand your value. It was basically saying is like, you need to make sure your girl understands that you're going to do what you want to do. It was very straightforward, very blunt.
Yeah.
And I disagreed with it on very obvious reasons.
Well, maybe do what you want to do, but not necessarily cheat.
But the reality is there's two different types of men when it comes to what you're looking for from women. There's the men who look at women as just an object and almost like a trophy.
Yeah.
And those types of men, like Andrew Tate, would sit there and say, I don't actually have any type of connection directly related to you when it comes to my value. There's no connection to my value with you. I could take you, I could leave you, like you're for this moment. Now, if you go back and look at Andrew Tate's past, he's very open about it. He says part of the reason why I became famous was I was on
some reality show or
like a Survivor or whatever, one of those. He was on one of those island shows.
Yeah.
And
The Bachelor.
And there's clips of it of this girl basically making fun of him, saying like you're broke, but he in the show it's like I like you, and it's like you're broke, so I don't like you. The whole world saw that. That's where it started.
Yeah.
What is his? When you look at who he is now, and then look at his own stories from where he started, I mean, it's trauma. I was publicly humiliated by this woman.
So now
How heartless are women? If that's where that starts, where does it end? It ends with a billionaire who doesn't care about women and tells you if they don't let you cheat, they're the problem. When you see that, you go, okay, is he successful? Yes. But am I working on value for my community? If I'm working on value for my community, then I'm not just blindly trying to grind to become a billionaire to try to prove to somebody who wasn't interested in me that they should have been. No, I'm going to accept God and be like, you know what? That was probably a good thing. That woman is only into money. She probably has, issues from parents, not really understanding how to connect with people. So when I meet her mind she doesn't even understand that I'm trying to connect with her. What she sees is a guy who's interested, who has nothing to offer, and it's just like, back off. Well, that's so cold. Well, that's a cold person. But that's how women are. That's how she was.
Yeah.
But when you base everything off of an experience you have, and you group everything into that, yes, was he able to become a multimillionaire? Yeah. But should you mirror yourself after him? A grown man who has trauma from a girl humiliating him, like realistically, he became rich enough to be able to say, I'm going to tell you how things are. And it's like, there's aspects that are true if you're looking for that type of woman. But there's also women who want a real connection. So it's like, if I'm trying to follow somebody on Instagram, again, he lives in the cold, but I'm in a hot climate. I'm full of warmth. Everybody I'm surrounded by in my area is warm and loving. You come from cold. Why am I in a community full of love going to adopt ideas of hate? Well, it's not ideas of hate. It's just true. Like women are looking for certain things. Men are looking for certain things. You got to become something to get their interest. Well, that's true to some women.
Right.
The women he's after, because he never learned how to create an actual bond with a woman.
Yeah.
And as a result, he has eliminated that as an option and said, there's only one way. No, there's two ways. But you haven't worked on that other side of yourself.
Right.
So when it comes to social media, a lot of people will look at somebody like Andrew Tate, and that's what they'll follow. But they follow the end result. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to be a guy who's like, this is how women need to be because I have status as a man. And it's like, you work at Kroger's. Like, you don't really have status for anything.
Right.
You're not even the manager.
Right.
Like, you can't sit there and tell me you have status over a woman.
Right. And the real success is not all the options of women and all the cars and the houses and stuff like that. Like, real meaningful success is a successful family, a job that you like doing, that is success. Like, if you don't have to work, that's great, but you're going to have to do something because we can't just sit around and just spend money all day. Like,
we are humans.
That's not fulfilling. We have to build. We have to do something.
And when it comes to relationships, we are humans that offer each other value.
Yeah.
I will correct you when you're wrong to help you focus and correct your value.
Yeah.
And maximize it. So when you look at somebody like Andrew Tate, that's kind of the whole thing. Is this person never learned the value of women. So when you look at him and you're like, hey, but there's a whole group of women that are not about you, and they say like your little tricks and stuff would never work on them. Well, I don't want those types of women. But what if those are the girls who are willing to get to know you despite your flaws, help correct you to make you a better person because they see
actually help
because they see what you're lacking and they're like, I can help you see your problems. You snap on them and you're like, I don't have problems. They listen. They let you go off and then they redirect. And by the end of it, you've really just displayed to yourself how your reaction to stuff and how you're not willing to be open with the idea is actually hurting you. And holy crap, this person just helped me see a part of myself I've been unwilling to see. All the other girls just go with whatever I say because of money.
Yeah.
The reality is if you want a good relationship, you need somebody who's willing to correct your flaws and try to build you into a better version of yourself.
Yeah.
You're not trying to just be an Andrew Tate who got turned down and is trying to just show the world money can get you the prettiest girls. It's like, maybe the prettiest, but does it get you the smartest? Does it get you the most nurturing? Does it get you a good mother for your children?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Are you going to be happy when you stop having sex and you're in old age and you need a companion? And you have a family that's you built and they are starting to build families. Like at that point, all that stuff that Andrew Tate and the people that are chasing that level of success, becomes irrelevant. And it comes down to what you've accomplished in your life, what you can pass on to the next generation in your social circle. It's not, I mean, for some very rare 1% or less of the population, yeah, everyone knows who you are and you are influential to the world. But that's a lot of pressure. That's not necessarily success. That kind of success comes with pain. It comes with work. It comes with things that your normal average person, one, doesn't need, and two, why? Why would you want it?
It's
like
all
when you can have everything that you need.
It's all trauma.
Here.
It's all trauma.
Yeah.
You grow up in a family that doesn't really teach you connection and unity, but like it's all you. You have to grind. You have to do this. That's kind of what Andrew Tate's dad taught him. It's like, you do you. I'm not here to coddle you. Your mom might coddle you, but I correct her, don't I? Because you shouldn't be coddled. You need to work hard. If you're taught from a young age that connection with people and openness and vulnerability is a weakness, there's a whole aspect of yourself you've never gotten to really invest in and get to know.
Yeah.
So while Andrew Tate may say some stuff that is true, it's only true in a niche market from his experience.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a dumb person who just sees this millionaire online telling me why I'm not attractive to women. So I just grab onto it. The reality is, if I listen to him, will I get girls? Yes.
Probably helps you.
Will I get the girls that I want? Will I get the girls that make me a better person? Or will I get the girls that feed into my view of this world is all about money and there's nothing real anymore?
Yeah. And if you don't live up to that, they drop you.
Yeah, become like Andrew Tate and don't add value to other women, and you will become Andrew Tate. But you have to explore that whole other part of the world that maybe he didn't get to experience as a child and never got. But seriously,
Like Michael Jackson.
but there's a lot
never
of.
a child.
But even Michael Jackson, what was his whole
Well,
thing? His whole argument was the reason I hang out with kids is because kids
Right.
are the most innocent.
That's
it
why.
grounds me. It's all of these things. It sounds crazy, but it all stemmed from his childhood. Now, was he successful? Was he a great musician? Did he have an amazing voice?
One of the best.
But
Of all
do
time.
you want to be that level of success lacking all of these other human attributes? No. I don't want to be rich as Andrew Tate and not understand women on other levels. He understands them on one level. There's other levels. I mean, you could say he understands them all a bunch, but it's all in the category of the physical mind.
Yeah.
But there's a physical and a spiritual mind. We all have that. Guys who are broken, who struggle with issues and never really dive into themselves, they don't really, the spiritual side doesn't really come out and become the voice of reason. It is the physical side. So the problem is you have people who clearly never reached the other side of themselves and just stuck to one. And it's very obvious. I'm Andrew Tate. I just get money. Nobody's going to tell me nothing. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It's like, that's trauma. That's all that is. Like, I mean, that's all it is. Working that hard to make money, that's not fun. That's really hard work. Well, this is my life and my experience. Like me waking up nonstop, always grinding, hitting $1 million, hitting $10 million, hitting $100 million, and feeling like I need to push harder. Tell me where there's a healthy psychological connection there. Tell me that's not trauma and me trying to make up for something I don't have. I mean, to me, it's obvious. And to most people, I think it's common sense. But when we see it with all the cars and this, and then we see pretty girls commenting, oh my God, this and that, you go, well, maybe I could give up parts of myself to try to get that. I mean, it's like the devil. He's like, hey, you want the whole world? Just stop trying to make sense of it. It's like, no. If I stop trying to make sense of it, then I'm just going to use it. And if I just use it, there's a lot of people I'm going to step on the way. And for some reason that matters to me. Well, these people are stupid and they don't care. They don't know better. Well, then why would I take advantage of them? Because if I was that person, I wouldn't want that to happen to me. I would want somebody to make that kind of money and put it back in the community. That's why a rapper can blow up, become stupid rich, do nothing for their neighborhood, and then come back like, yo, y'all remember me? on YouTube as a clip, like, look at me, this is my area. And then you have everybody come out and they're like, you need to leave. This isn't it. We're about to fuck you up.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what did I do? You became rich because your community supported you. And then you did nothing for us. You haven't talked to us. And 2 years later, you come back to make a video for what? To make more money off of us?
Yeah.
We're about to kill you, dude. Like, that's the reality. The reality is if you don't keep that connection with those around you, if you don't sit there and say, you know what, if I become a millionaire, do I want a woman that's basically just under my control, or do I want somebody who pushes me to become a billionaire, to show me the flaws I have with myself that make me afraid to take these steps that I know I'm confident in executing. I'm just afraid to do it. I need, when you have somebody there who's like, hey, no, I see your value. These are the things you're not seeing about yourself. And then you sit there and you go, you know what? You're right. I can do this. You need somebody to push you to take that extra step, not by lies, but genuine. Hey, this is a true thing that I see about you. The reason I love you is because of this quality you have nobody else has. And you're like, that is a good quality about me, isn't it? It's a real one. It's genuine. This is really who you are. But you look at this as a weakness, but this is your biggest strength. Maybe I'll approach this business deal different. Maybe I'll actually take half the money and I'm going to sell them an idea of like a side thing, which will also generate them more money, but it'll create an opening, put a foot in the door for my next company to come in and kind of be a partner. You know what? I'm willing to take this risk. I'm going to make money either way, but the open door that I'm creating is potential to tenfold. But you wouldn't be confident to take that if your mind was, I'm just trying to get that money. You're not going to see the bigger plan. You're not going to see all of your options. You need somebody to help you take a step back and understand you have value. You have tons of options. Like, assess this. If you just have like a yes man girl by your side, it's like, I have money, so I basically bought my girlfriend. That person's not going to give you genuine feedback on how you could improve. You see what I'm saying? That person's going to be afraid to give you feedback because they're going to be afraid to lose that money. They're going to be afraid to lose that security. That's really what it comes down to, is it's community. It's like even down to the wire of like Andrew Tate. If the girls that he has on his side are just loyal, but there's not like a real connection of like, let me push you to better yourself. No, you're already perfect the way you are. I know that's not true. Don't tell me that. I need somebody who's going to challenge me, tell me what's wrong, and improve me in ways that I can't improve myself. I need that outside perspective that genuinely cares as much about me as I do. And if you don't have that, you become stagnant. And you become an Andrew Tate, where after all the criticism he's gotten, he's this week posting things about like, hey, if your chick doesn't let you cheat, then like you got a bad chick. And it's like, that's a really narrow-minded view of women.
Yeah, it would be like, terrible
that
if all society kept living that way.
And it's like, are you telling me that your view of women is that they literally are all operate a certain way, and that there's not exceptions of women who are like, I like this person for the way they look, the way they act, the way they talk, and their connection with me. There's like a symbiotic like partnership that's going on here that I don't get with other people. Yes, you have tons of money, but that's not going to influence me. Well, then you're not the bitch I'm looking for. Or maybe that's exactly what you're looking for, and that's why you're so angry against women who aren't in line with your view. Because it goes against your view, which is you have flaws. So why do you hate on women who criticize you? Because you don't like your flaws being acknowledged. Why call out my flaws? I got money. I had a girl call out my flaws on the whole thing. If I don't have money, well, now I have money and I can buy anything. So what can you say as a woman? What can you say that is wrong about me? The way I talk about women? I have plenty of things to justify why I'm this way. The simple fact of the matter is you either become a better version of yourself, or you justify the way you are that got you to where you are. And that'll be the end of you. And that's it. You are just that. And honestly, I followed Andrew Tate for a long time, and I don't see him changing. I see him getting his fucking ass beat online. I see him constantly talking about GM, top G, look at all the money I got.
Get his ass beat in kickboxing pretty recently, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Fucked up, got his ass knocked out, bro. Like, I'm just saying, like, if you're this high above me, then that means you understand psychology better than me, right? Except it seems like there's a whole aspect of psychology you're not willing to look at because you've deemed it untrue. Women can't be this way, so my mind is not open to seeing the possibilities. It's fake. Women aren't actually that way. That's fake.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, maybe some people are. It's like maybe not all guys just want pussy. It's like, that's not true. Except for the gay ones. It's like, there are people, this is life, this is reality. Yeah. There's so much variety. It's so weird when
tribe doesn't work that way.
It's weird when I see these kind of content creators like an Andrew Tate be like, no, women, this is fundamentally how women work, and there's not really an outside box to that. It's like, I'm not saying you're wrong to what you know, but I am saying you're wrong that there's not exceptions. There's not outside boxes to this. There's not differences. You're all wrong there. And by not acknowledging that, you're showing your cards that there's an area of your mind that has not been acknowledged, and it's probably out of trauma, out of fear. It's something that you don't want to view because it'll expose aspects of yourself that are just grinding nonstop. And if you acknowledge it, you realize you don't really want to do this, and you can't do that because then you lose your status. And so it's a fake identity built from fake stuff.
Well, yeah, that's well said. I think that's a good interpretation. We are coming up on kind of the end of our time period here. Would you like to, in a few minutes, say anything else for your close on just this?
I'm not close it right now. Very simply, when it comes to social media and who you are, really think about who you want to become. Do you want to be the best version of you? Or do you want to be the best version of what you think the world considers to be the best version of you? Do you want to be an Andrew Tate? Or do you want to become you? There wasn't an Andrew Tate before Andrew Tate. Whether he's right or wrong in who he is doesn't matter. He is the only one of him, and he became him. You can't copy it. All you can do is create your own thing. So the best advice I could give to anybody when it comes to mental health on social media is you can admire people and see what they're doing right, but don't look at it as real. Look at yourself as real and figure out what you want to be and try to see what other people are lacking. If I watch Andrew Tate, I don't say this is a man who's conquered everything. This is what I need to copy. What I see is this is an intelligent guy. Does he have all the answers? And then I listen to him. If I feel like he's lacking some things, I'll try to figure out what that is. Because my goal isn't to just become a billionaire. My goal is to become the best version of me I can be. Which means I'm going to learn how to adopt aspects of being humble he doesn't have. I'm not going to look at him as that this is the answer. There's no answer.
Right.
We're all
He's
different.
not Jesus Christ.
We're all different, and if we're going to put a standard on what is humanity, it would be Jesus. Like that would be the idea of perfection. Well, I couldn't do that because I like girls too much. You just said one of your problems. Investigate. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
It's very obvious. Do you want to be a better person?
Do you just like girls, or you're offering people value?
Yeah. You could sit there and say, like, I don't feel like I want to be a better person, but in my heart, I've decided that I do. Then that's what you follow. Yeah, and you let the emotions and the feelings fall. You say, my decision of how I want to be logically is greater than how my feelings and emotions tell me I should be. Because my feelings and emotions are really just a byproduct of the experience I had in life. And if people treated me bad, then my emotions make me a hardened person who doesn't treat people good. Do I want to be a bad person because people were bad to me? Or do I want to be a good person despite what I went through? You have to make that decision yourself. And if you go on social media and you see somebody and you go, Andrew Tate, he looks happy, he has everything, and he has girls. That's it. So you don't know if that means he's happy. You have no idea. You'd be doing the same kind of videos
Most
if you had that
celebrities
kind of money.
aren't that happy.
Exactly, because they're on social media constantly. If I had money like Andrew Tate, I wouldn't even use Twitter. Do you understand? If I had that kind of money, I'd just be retired.
Yeah.
That'd be it.
I'd be in.
You would not see me advertising on social media because I'm a grown man who doesn't give a fuck about
already made it.
what some 17-year-old kid is following me for. I don't care. I'm just here to just enjoy my life and maybe help my community. If I make that kind of money, I'm retiring and I'm just trying to, and I'm just going to fund businesses on the side and be like, hey, you think you got a good idea? Let's see how it pays out.
Yeah.
You know, you pay me this back, plus, 50%. I give you $100,000. You pay me $150 whenever you can. Your company becomes 10 million. Give me my 150 then.
Yeah.
I ain't worried about it. I'm just here
Shark
to
Tank.
help you become. Seriously, I'm just like, that would be my goal, to help add value to the community. The last thing you should ever do is look at somebody successful and then try to adopt their personality, attitude, or their worldview. Because they may have became successful off of their worldview, but you're not them. You need to establish your own worldview to understand how to go into the world to become successful. You can't just take somebody else's perspective and be like, no, I think that's right. I'm going to approach it the same and I'll be rich. You won't. You will lose all of your friends. It's that simple.
Yeah. And that's a very good point. And just for my closing thoughts, I'm going to speak to all you guys out there, or I won't even say guys. I'm going to speak to everyone out there
And dolls.
that wants to better their social status, wants to be more successful in that area. And to what I would say to that is you have to learn how to give other people value. You could be the most ugliest person in the entire world, and you can still be successful based on how you interact with other people. And, whether you're working with a disadvantage, whether it's physically, how you look, how you are, your size, anything like that, whether it's economically, if you come from a poor family, if you come from a bad situation, if you don't have a lot going for you, if you don't really have a car and you have like a kind of an okay job and people don't take you seriously because you don't have these things, that doesn't matter. Don't measure yourself based on your material and your physical characteristics and your situation. You can't measure yourself based on that. Yes, you should improve that. You should work to improve all of those areas. Spiritually, physically, financially, all these things. But that's different. What I'm talking about is socially. Regardless of where you're at, where you come from, you can make a genuine choice that, do you want other people to see you as successful, as powerful, as sexy, as rich, as anything? Do you want people to see you that way?
You got to be that way.
Well, you don't even have to be that way. You got to take your mind off of that. You have to make other people feel successful, make other people feel sexy, make other people feel rich, make other people feel like they're valuable. Because when you give them value, doesn't matter your situation, doesn't matter where you are, they're going to make you feel valuable in return, because offering someone value is the most valuable thing that you could ever do. And that's what we're all lacking in this modern society, when we're all trying to appeal to this fake ass fucking online tribe that doesn't exist. We're all trying to reach this upper echelon, and we all judge everyone else based on where you are on this social ladder. I'm telling you right now, that doesn't matter, and I've lived it. I've moved to new cities and not known anybody and had to rebuild myself, and I realized very fast that it doesn't matter who I fucking was. I can tell all these cool stories. That doesn't matter. It's you listen to people, you ask about them, you make them feel special, you make them feel valuable. Because that, at the end of the day, is going to help you out more than trying to seem a certain way, trying to come off as a certain way, trying to build your psychological representation up to be someone who's successful by the internet or whatever.
And
that doesn't
real quick,
matter.
To push on that, I want to ask you a question. When you did recreate yourself and sell yourself, like you're in a new place and you did it. You established yourself the way you wanted to. How did you feel?
I felt like myself for the first time in my entire life. I'd say everything prior to that, everything prior to starting anew, and this goes to anyone who's starting at the bottom, starting with nothing. At that point,
But with your frame of
felt,
like, when you say you wouldn't recommend it, the idea of like recreating yourself for a purpose to be seen a certain way.
well,
like-
I just meant moving to a new area, like not knowing anyone, having to start over. So
Oh yeah.
that I didn't mean like recreate yourself in this image.
But like when you did that, because again, in your community, there is kind of a feeling of everybody knows me for who I am. There's a vulnerability.
right.
And because of that vulnerability, a part of you has to be true to yourself. You're almost rooted to be true. Because it's like, I can't be fake because I'll get called out. It's like
Yeah.
a subconscious thing where like, I can't be fake. They'll know. But in a new area, people don't know.
Right.
So I basically what we get is I feel like there is like a part of you that goes, I did it. They see me this way, but I have to keep this aspect up. I have to, I don't necessarily connect with what I'm selling them, because I think that is one of the funniest things about when you sell people something and you accomplish it. A part of you is like, I have to keep this up. Why do I have to keep this up? Because this isn't who I am. And that's when the reality sets in of, I'm playing a character, and like what I want is to just be happy.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's for me. I mean, it could take moving to a new area. It could take restarting, but like,
As long as you're genuine, yes.
right. And that I think that was what woke me up, because I used to be a very anxious person, very judgmental, always worried about what people were saying to me so I could say something back. And at one point I dropped all that. I'd kind of learned this stuff, and then I was in a situation where I could implement it. And it wasn't like I got lucky or anything. I just moved to a new city. I didn't know anybody. So I literally had to rebuild from nothing. And that taught me so much about interaction. And I basically had nothing to go off of, nothing to show for myself, nothing to prove what I've done or anything like that. All I did was listen to people, talk to people, and meet people, and then give them value, ask about them. And then, that builds, I built relationships based on that. They say something that I was familiar with and I could go off of and be like, oh, that's interesting that you said that you played in a band. Like I played in a band in high school. Like, let's jam.
But before
Or
I tell you all about my band,
right.
what kind of music did you guys play?
Exactly.
It
wasn't
I
a show.
relate to you.
Exactly.
I get it. Back to you.
Right.
And a lot of people that's a huge mistake a lot of people make, is they're like, oh, no, I did that.
Very good
now it's
point.
my point. Now it's
Right.
my turn to show you my value. And it's like, first, let the person started talking to you to
Yeah.
show their value to you. So feed it.
That's exactly what I was trying to
I
portray.
understand what you're saying, so I understand the level of value that you're trying to convey. Now keep going. That's the power.
See,
Not saying I understand the value you're trying to
glad
say.
you said that.
Let me really advertise what you wish you were.
Dude,
I reached where you're trying to go. I already got there. Wasn't worth it. Got tired of it. That'll kill a dream.
That's exactly what I'm so glad you said that, because I wasn't doing that, and that's, it could be misconstrued as that is what I was trying to suggest that you do. It's, you find stuff to build rapport on, but you don't. Yeah, you're not like, oh, you were a band, I was in a band. It's like, but like when you share, when you ask about somebody and they share something, then you find that no matter who you are, you have some type of social connection. Maybe
It's
that
fine
person
to connect to the conversation.
maybe that person
but
likes
bring it back to them.
Cheese Whiz, and
I used to work for Cheese Whiz. But what was your favorite flavor? Keep going with what you were saying.
exactly.
Don't let me derail you. Let me just add that I get it, and then keep you on that trail to let you know that I'm not
hype you up.
I'm not interrupting you to throw you off. I'm interrupting to add to your understanding
We are
that
the same.
I'm here with you.
Yes.
Now you can speak a little deeper on what you're saying, and you can really open up.
Dude,
that's what
that's-
you're saying by going, oh no, that's awesome. I actually used to be in a band. What kind of music did you guys play? Now I'm letting you really get deep, where you're
Yeah.
like, oh, so now I'm not talking to you like somebody who wasn't in a band, and I'm trying to show you the value of a guy who was in a band. Now it's like, oh no, I was in a band too. So I get all the intricacies that other people wouldn't. So you can talk to me like a band member.
Yeah.
But I want to know about your band. That's
Right.
the difference. It's not I'm a band,
don't
you're a
flip it-
band.
don't flip it
Who's
to
the better
you.
band? It's
yes,
it's
not a dick measuring contest.
by going back to that person, you're almost putting value, saying, I don't know what your band was, but I want to. And that brings that fire of like, yeah, I did have passion. I did have this. I wasn't a band that really tried. And you recreate that person, even in that moment of that memory of just like, okay, let me really tell you. Honestly, if you want to become a better person, that is the way to do it, because people will open up and tell you things that are so intimate and so personal that you only get this type of information from like your assessment of a life of like decades of your work.
Yeah.
And when you can get somebody to share that with you, the insight and understanding you get, if you're genuine and really listening, it's insane.
Dude,
what
that's
you
fucking well said, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's as simple as just, if you want to be better, start by listening to people, because a bad person doesn't care what somebody has to say and a good person does. So start at the basics and be like, you know what? I want to hear what other people have to say.
Yeah.
You could even start by just opening a conversation about stuff. And if somebody gets excited,
Yeah.
feed it.
Find
Just feed it,
find
let
connection.
it go.
Find
And-
connection on what they say versus what you have to offer.
because everybody is going to just, whether it's social media or in person at this point nowadays,
Yeah.
people are just going to say, they're
Trying
just
to
going to
seem
say
cool.
hot topic words. They're just going to say like, oh, I'm going to bring this up because it's trending.
I went to Spain.
Oh, yeah, they're just going to talk about what is popular. They're not going to talk about the deep things that change us and give us perspective. But if you feed into somebody's niche or somebody's like passion, whatever it is, they'll open up so much. You'll start hearing the building blocks that make them who they are. And that can not just add to you, but it helps you understand them better and helps you learn people, which as a double up, the better you understand that one person, the better you kind of understand yourself and other people. If you do this enough, you'll start to see everybody kind of works the same. And then once you see that, you're like, I kind of relate to everybody again.
understand
Social
yourself.
media didn't
Yes.
win.
Yeah. Dude, all right. Fuck yeah. All right. Let's end it there. That's well said.
GG's.
Guys, thanks for joining us tonight. Let us know what you think in the comments.
Please.
And join us every Wednesday night, 9 Central at least. And we can respond to you guys' comments. You can be part of the conversation, and you will literally steer the podcast. Trying to build the followers. Let us know what you guys think. Please give the channel a follow, and have a good night.
Until next time, Meta Perspective out.
Meta Perspective Podcast.